friends, welcome to the Me and Re podcast. I'm Reanna Hoffmann and I am your host. I am so excited that you are here. Welcome to our first episode of the Me and Re podcast. So if this is weird or awkward or zany or strange, that is why we are having interesting conversations on our first podcast. I'm here with my favorite person in the whole world. Can you explain who you are, please?
My name is Philip Hoffmann, and this is my wife, Reanna. Or I guess I'm her husband since this is her podcast.
You're the me of Me and Re today. How do you feel about that?
I'm here.
You're here? I'm so glad you're here. You're my favorite. So I did decide to ask my lovely husband to be my co-host for our first episode of the podcast, mainly because he's my co-host everywhere.
Asked is a strong word.
I might have voluntold him to be on the podcast because he loves me and he's my tech support and he's my favorite couch buddy. So welcome to the Hoffmann house. We are on our couch. These are our wedding pictures behind us. It very much looks like a newlywed's first apartment. I wish you could see behind the camera, and if for those of you that are listening, I wish you could put eyes on our apartment. Currently it is raining and thundering outside, which is odd for November, but that's okay. And there is a light in our living room, like one of those standing lights that does not have a shade on it because we needed the aura that's coming from it. And we have every other lamp in our house on, and we've moved our plants around and we cleaned off the couch. It's a whole thing. Anyway, you didn't need to know all of that information, but with this being our first episode, I thought it would be fun to have a conversation and discussion and get to let you guys get to know us a little better. So, Philip, do you want to start? You want me to start?
Let's start with what?
Questions on how to get to know us better.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, you can start.
Okay, Philip. Since this is the Me and Re podcast, I'm going to ask you questions about you since you're with me. Haha. So, what do you do for a living?
Well, depends on who you ask. I'm a software developer, so I work on software and I develop it, and I make computers work for people, and when they don't work for people, I try to figure out why they don't do that. And yeah, so just kind of that encompasses a lot of things, from working with databases to developing websites and front ends to everything kind of in between.
That's really cool. Thank you for explaining that for the unenlightened, aka the people that didn't go to school to be engineers. I appreciate what you do, and I appreciate you being my tech support for all things Reanna, aka
I do that too.
The podcast and the website and the hi, this won't work, please make it work. So I appreciate you for that.
You're welcome. What do you do?
So in my real job, quote unquote real job, I am the volunteer coordinator and the assistant to the executive director at Zoe Freedom Center. Zoe Freedom Center is a local nonprofit that helps people find freedom from addiction. So I do anything from answer the phones to inputting data in our system. I send a lot of emails. I coordinate all of our volunteers, and we have quite a few of them. And I'm also in charge of our mobile harm reduction unit, which is a ginormous purple van that drives around Fredericksburg. When I say ginormous, I mean I've fallen out of it 2 or 3 times. Wish I was kidding. And we pass out Narcan. Narcan is an opioid reversal drug. It's a nasal spray. So if someone were to overdose, you would put it in their nostril and click a button just like Flonase, and it brings them back. So it revives them and keeps them from passing away due to overdose, and that gives us another opportunity to share Jesus with them. So that's my day job. My night job, I joke about, is I am a certified Go and Tell Gals coach. So I am a growth, purpose, and vision coach. I work with teams, and I work one-on-one with individuals to help them discover their vision and their purpose and what they want to do with what they are currently doing, or where to go with their next step. Within my coaching realm, I do a lot of writing. I have a blog on Substack. It's called Reanna's Great Adventure. And then I am in the process of finding new places to publish. So I have been scouting and browsing the web to determine locations where I could upload devotions and blogs and other things to be an author with, if that makes sense. So it's kind of weird as a 26-year-old when I totally went to school for not this. I actually have a degree in elementary education, and it's it's so hard to find a job when your degree is in elementary education, not in like math or English or history. Elementary education. So I was a teacher for a short season, and the Lord said, "Hi, thank you for doing what I told you to do. Now let's step into something else." So I'm very curious to see what the Lord's going to be doing with that and why I was a teacher from that short little season. But yeah, my day job is I work in an office with some really cool ladies, and then my night job is I coach and watch videos to help me coach better, and I write and I watch videos to help me write better. So that's what I do. Also, I like to bake and cook occasionally. Not occasionally, I love baking and cooking. Like, do it every day. What are some things you like to do, Philip?
A little bit of everything. But I don't know, I guess traditionally reading has always been a fun pastime of mine. Hanging out with people, playing board games with them, and board games, video games, like working on my own video games, which is, I'm finding out just diving more into that little bit of everything category, because there's a lot of everything that goes into it. Because you look and you think, hey, it's just you make some art and some models or whatever, and then you program the things to work together. But it's art, it's game design, it's programming, it's designing designing the game in a way that is like actually fun and intuitive, and not just like playing like Sudoku but with a different coat of paint on it. It's sound design. It's kind of not too far from teaching, actually, a little bit too, because you're trying to figure out how to communicate information in a effective manner that you don't want to feel like you're holding your hands with players and new users, but also feels like you're kind of not just dumping a 37-page booklet of rules in front of them. Yeah, but we're on project number 7, I think, that I haven't currently dropped yet. So we'll see how that goes.
That's a very intense hobby.
It's a little long-suffering.
Long-suffering? I don't have the skill set for that. So that's really cool.
But you have skills for things that I don't, like interacting with people.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
Supporting them well. Making them feel loved, seen, cared for. Is that your tagline?
Love, seen, and valued. But
that
yeah,
one.
I appreciate you. So your hobbies is creating video games, which is really cool. My hobbies is cooking and baking. So if it's almost the end of the year, is there anything you would like to accomplish before January 1, December 31st, that weekend? It's not a weekend, that week.
I'm still kind of getting over the fact that we're at November 20th right now. So I haven't thought too far ahead in that regard.
I know, it's wild. I can't believe it's already November.
But I think just want to get into a good posture. Hope is to finish tidying up some things around here, get some social media accounts kind of into swing, kind of come up with a plan for the marketing aspect, and also just kind of having a more in-depth online presence.
Yeah.
So that's probably what I'll be focused on for the next remaining 5 or 6 weeks of our year.
That's really cool.
What about you?
My goal for the end of the year, so I decided to launch my baking website to sell cinnamon rolls and scones and braided cinnamon bread off of a whim. So I'm going to be baking quite a bit before the end of the year. My goal is also to up my presence on social media, maybe up my consistency, because I love sharing inspirational things and quotes and my thoughts, but I'm really bad at being consistent at it. So there are seasons that I'm like, I'm gonna post 4 times a week, and I do that for like 3 months, and then I fall off the face of the earth for the next 6. So my goal is to post more by the end of the year, and maybe even create an outline of what I want to post and how I want to post it. I'm also thoroughly enjoying Substack. because it has this cool chat feature. I don't know if you're on Substack. If you're not on Substack, I'm going to put my Substack link in our show notes so that you can click on Substack and see what that is. But with Substack, they have this cool chat feature, and you can post kind of like Facebook-ish, except Substack is very niche. So people that want to be on Substack aren't complaining, and they're not telling you what the weather is, and they're not asking you to pray for their mama because she stubbed her big toe kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They are posting their poems and their thoughts about a little bit of anything. My realm in Substack is I'm in faith, religion, and culture is my little bubble that I sit in. And so a lot of what I see is scripture and thoughts and concepts and things that are pretty tangible that you can do this thing called Restack, and you click a button and you share it in your Substack account and your followers get to see it. And I'm thoroughly enjoying it because it's not as heavy as Facebook, I think. With Facebook, I'm really scared of what I post to the degree that I know it will follow me forever and ever. And those pictures that my mom posted when I was 12 in a basketball uniform are still there. So if you want to go creep my mom on Facebook and go back 12 or 13 years, you can find Reanna in braces and in basketball shorts. So with Substack, I don't feel like it's... I don't want to say vulnerable, because you can totally post your heart and your feelings and your thoughts on Substack. But the group of people that are there want to be there, and it's not a catty group of people. They're not gossiping about each other, and it's very an uplifting part. Although the section I'm in, there could be a totally different section with politics, and there's fan fiction, and you can... The other cool part about Substack is there's this paid feature, so you can pay $5 a month for somebody you subscribe to, and you get insider info. So like, I will post some behind the scene podcast stuff in Substack, and I'm gonna release some of my favorite baking recipes, and I'll release a bonus blog post and some resources with my coaching that you could get for free if you subscribe. And because it's a subscription with a paid service, it's also a very... the funnel gets even smaller of people that are looking at your content because they want to be there and they're interested in it. It's not like scrolling on Facebook and your mom likes it and then your mom shares it. Not that I don't love my mom. She's great. I love you, Mom. But when my mom shares it, then I have a whole different group of people. Like my 5th grade teacher and my mom's older lady friends and all these other random people that I have no idea because I've never met, but they know who I am because they know her. And they're not as interested in reading my content. They're like, she's cute, click. And so with Substack, I can do that. But anyway, I went on a whole rabbit trail with Substack. I apologize.
Yeah. So, sounds like it's more... I mean, the part of it I think you can attribute to just kind of new... What's the word? New platform. Like, and you know, that's... I think this is part of why there's like all these conversations about like threads right now.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you know, it's the new Twitter and it's great and people moderate and stuff. It's like, okay, well, it has like 1/1000th of the user base right now, so of course it's going to feel a little more like higher quality, but I think it sounds like there's also some other features on there that people would be interested in, like, you know, you kind of... it's more directed in terms of like, or you know, you're a little more in control of your experience and where you go.
Yeah.
It also has some aspects there of being able to like, you know, kind of tailor it for you and, you know, get what you want and not just, you know, like 700 posts on, you know, 2025 elections, oh boy, woo! Yeah. So how did you come across Substack?
So when I became a certified coach, I had this cohort of ladies, and when we went to our graduation, is what I'm going to call it, we were talking about what our niche was and how we wanted to coach the mostly women that we coach. And one of the ladies brought up Substack. I was like, oh, that's cool. I have a blog. And I had a blog on MailChimp at that point. And she's like, well, Substack has these cool features. I was like, okay, have fun. I was right at the end of last year, beginning of this year. And I was trying to launch a website and trying to do 17 other things. And Substack was just not on my radar. Well, then another one of the ladies that I coach with launched a branding and marketing cohort's what I'm going to call it. We're her beta testers, which means she's going to be launching something next year for a higher price. We're kind of her guinea pigs. It's awesome. I love it. We'll stay in it for as long as she has it. It's amazing. And so one of the things that I noticed that all the ladies in my cohort were doing was removing their blog posts to their Substacks. I was like, it can't be that hard. And so because I had this area of people I could ask questions to, which was helpful because I am not a YouTube girly. I'm not one of those that just Googles it. It's not in my nature. I've definitely had to do that this year, and it has been a thing because I just don't like it. I don't know. It's a whole thing. We'll go about that later. But because I had people I could ask questions to, I felt more confident in launching a Substack. So I launched my Substack. I moved all of my blog posts from MailChimp to Substack. And then I posted a blog last week. And I realized it does all the same things, except you get to a different audience of people. It's public versus my MailChimp was not public. So it just went to the people that were on my email list and who I shared it with on Facebook. Substack, you can find anything. You can search, you can find, you can read. The lady Brunch with Babs on Instagram. You have no idea who that is, do you?
I've seen a few clips that you sent me.
Oh, that's true. So she has a Substack, and she shared, like, her Thanksgiving recipes. And I didn't look for her, but she popped up. I was like, yes, please. Thank you. And so now I follow her. And then I follow some ladies from my cohort. And each person writes about their own kind of thing. So it's really nice that we're all not writing about our random Thursday encounter. Some people are writing about daily delights. Amy Hancock does a daily, I think it's called Daily Enlighted. I'll link it in the show notes. But she has a what are you delighting in today? Mm-hmm. And that just reminds me, hey, everything is not bad and on fire and it's okay. And there's small things that we're thankful for. And she leaves journal prompts, and I really want to get into journaling. So I'm in the process of learning how to do that. And so her content and my content are very different, but both very good. So I'm enjoying Substack.
Okay.
And you can recommend it to other people, and then your friends become their friends, and you get bigger communities and networks. And it's a whole thing. I'm enjoying it. I really think you would like it.
Interesting. Perhaps I will give it a look.
I'll send you my link that you could pop in.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Is there anything else we want our listeners to know about us before we jump off of our introduction podcast and into what the Me and Ree podcast is actually going to discuss?
Actually, I mean, you asked me before and then double questioned me. So, what are some things that you yourself are interested in? What do you like to do outside of your work and your social media and
other than hanging out with you?
Yeah.
Watching movies on the couch with you. I like hiking. I like reading books. I like writing blogs. I love baking/cooking. I love hanging out with my mini BFFs. Yeah, I'm a plant mom. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plants in my living room, and then we have Marshmallow out on our porch. Marshmallow is a Schiflora plant that I got my first day of teaching, and my students and I were working on bar graphs, and so we decided we were going to use these bar graphs to name the plant, and Marshmallow won. So Marshmallow the Schiflora plant is on the porch. Yeah.
Actually, sorry, wrap back around to Substack real quick. If other people want to sign up for it, is there any fees or requirements to start on there, both in terms of posting and like following people?
So it's Substack. It's free. It's a free website. There are upgrades. So that means like if you were to get to someone's paywall is what it's called, you would pay the $5 or the $7.99 or the $10.99 and you get their content that is not available to their free subscribers. But most people post content for free. You can post your content for free. You can also charge a paywall to your account and give other people the option to pay to get access to your paid subscriber only content. But you do more than just write blogs. You can write blogs, you can do podcasts, you can do videos, you can do chats. It's really cool. I haven't really delved all the way into it. I am excited about uploading a podcast on there. A subscribers only podcast. But it's really cool. Any other questions, comments, concerns before
Not that
we hop off?
Not that immediately come to mind.
Okay. Well, friends. Thank you so much for hopping on to the Me and Reed podcast today. It was our inaugural episode. Thank you, my love, for joining us. I'm sure you will be back again begrudgingly because you get voluntold to do things, because you love me. But we will post all of the links we talked about today, my Substack, my friend's Substack, how to get a Substack, all in our show notes. We'll also link to my social media and Philip's social media if it is alive by then. If not, I'll come back and add it later. He said someday. So thank you for jumping on. If you have questions, comments, concerns, feel free to message us on social media. I am on Instagram at Reanna, Reanna .ivy, Ivey, .hoff, Hoff. Don't forget the second F. So feel free to direct message me with questions, comments, concerns, and please feel free to subscribe to our podcast. Can't wait to get started with this, and I am excited to see what the Lord does. Thanks. Have a great